Well, there were 3 days to go until schools reopen for the first term. The Gauteng Education Department says it's yet to place over 1,400 children in grades 1 and 8 inland schools. Will kick off the academic year on Wednesday. The Gauteng Education Department says it's managed to place more than 276,000 pupils who will start primary and high school this week. Let's get an update on the placements with spokesperson for the department, Steve Mabona. Steve, afternoon to you. Welcome to Newsfeed. So, just over 1,400 children were still waiting to be placed. That was by end of business on Friday. Have you made any more progress in putting them in classrooms?
Happy New Year to you and to all our viewers. Yes, we are making progress. Like as we've already indicated, we identified that we are from 3 districts. And with the additional mobile units that we have identified, which some of them have already been delivered at our schools. And with the project that we've already announced about, last week to say, we're going to be transferring over 240 million rand to different schools. That is your primary and high schools that will be, just adding classrooms at over 220 at the primary level and over 270 classrooms that will be, built. So we are hopeful that that will alleviate that pressure.
These 1,465 applicants who were still waiting for placement on Friday, will they all have a seat in a classroom on Wednesday morning?
We are working tirelessly to make sure that by the end of the week, all of them should be in the classroom.
Why has it been difficult in particular? You mentioned the issue of the various districts where you're seeing a bit of an issue. Is it just a matter of not having space? I know in the past you've dealt with parents who don't want their kid to go to a certain school, for example.
No, like in Ekurhuleni North, where you will have Tembisa and Olifants Fontaine, that's where we have a huge number of those that we're going to be able to accommodate. And the Gauteng East, that is your Ekurhuleni Far East, and Johannesburg Central in the south. That's where we have challenges, but we have identified space in the form of mobile units, and they will be in a position to accommodate those, while the process of building the classrooms will then kickstart, because we have already started the process of transferring the funding to those schools. Once they are done with classrooms, and then it will then alleviate that pressure. So those that will be in the mobile units will then go to those schools where they will then have classrooms. But we have about 800 appeals. Those ones will be those that we have already placed, but they are saying, this is the school that I don't want. This is the school that I don't prefer as a parent, and they've appealed. So we are finalizing the appeal process. We said by Monday, we should have responded to all those that would have appealed, so that they know whether we have changed our minds or we are continuing with what we did in terms of the placement. Because there are areas like Tshwane West where you don't have it, and you need to work with what you have, and the demand is high. So there we will then have to appeal, to parents to say, let's try to accommodate each other by accepting schools that we gave you, so that by the time we are done with the building of classes, then you probably might be accommodated with schools that we are looking for.
So just to be clear, but when you say the appeals will be addressed by Monday, do you mean Monday tomorrow?
Yes, Monday tomorrow. We started last week already to work with appeals, but we had those that we are not done with. So there's an undertaking from officials that by Monday we should be done with appeals, because on Friday we had an engagement with those that are responsible for the appeals, and there was an undertaking that by Monday those that appealed would receive their responses. About just over 800 of those. And on the other score, what we did was to announce that we will be opening on the 12th, that is Wednesday, for the late registration. So all those that would have missed the boat, they will then have an opportunity to apply on Wednesday. They don't need to go to any office. They just do it online, apply there, so that then they are allocated the space.
For that 1,400 plus who are still waiting placement, I know you said You mentioned Friday as a potential deadline. Is that a wish or a certainty at this stage?
No, well, with what we have in terms of the plans, we are hopeful that that will happen. Working tirelessly, making sure that we accommodate them.
So it's not guaranteed at this point?
Children must be in a classroom. So we are quite aware that they cannot be at home. They must be in a classroom. And we are working very hard to make sure that they are in a classroom. So that's why we are saying those that are appealing as well, because those who would have been placed, we appeal that they take the spaces. And there are those that did not submit documents. We, in our statement, we are saying over 17,000 of those. Since we opened the system for them to access and upload those documents, we have seen the decrease in that number. So they are, accessing the system, upload the documents, and choose schools that are available.
Let's talk about the issue of the classrooms, which you say will be constructed. 240 million rand, which you say has been made available. I was looking at the breakdown. You said this would cover 229 classrooms at primary school level, 270 at high schools. When will they all come online?
Look, there are schools that gave us classrooms in 2 months, for an example. There are those that would have given us in, 3 months. So we'll be working, with the schools and make sure that they fast track the process. President High School, they've done that. Roosevelt, they have done that. So it's doable. So that's why we opted that, look, in the interim, while we are still working with the Department of Infrastructure to build more schools, let's rather increase the capacity at some of our schools that are capable to do so, schools that have ample space that you can, extend and have more classes, rather than wait for us to build schools in the areas where we are hamstrung. Because you can see that we have, high pressure areas where we are not in a position to build schools. And meanwhile, development is actually moving much ahead of us, because there's a lot of development, there's a lot of townhouses in different areas, and we cannot cope. So we felt that when we transfer funding to schools that are saying, yes, we are capable to do it, let's rather do that than wait. But in the meantime, then supply mobile units, which will then be assisting us in the interim while we are waiting for those classrooms to be finalized.
And what I was trying to get to is about those mobile classrooms, if all of them will be where they are needed, for example, in the first week, in the first month of the year?
No, that work has commenced. While some of you were on holiday, our officials were working tirelessly, making sure that those mobile units were delivered. They didn't rest, and we really are indebted to them. They took their family time and make sure that those mobile units are delivered. So 90%, I can assure you, they are at the identified schools, and we are just finalizing those that we augment, like the areas that I've mentioned to you, like your Olifantsfontein, where we are pressured.
Steve Mabona, spokesperson for the Gauteng Basic Education Department. We'll touch base with you throughout the week, but for now, thank you very much for that update.
Thank you.